again, race fans, and welcome in to the Bristol Motor Speedway. There's racing, and then there's Bristol. And we saw it all last night here on VirtualRacing.Network. It was a lot of fun, a lot of action, and yes, there was some carnage. We expect nothing less tonight here for the NORA Truck Series 2023 as they enter the playoffs here for the first time this post-race season. And it's so great to be joined here in the booth. I'm Trevor Greenfield, and joining me is Christian Snyder. Hopefully he's got his mic working, but he was having some difficulty with that, so I'm not sure if he'll be here at the start of the race. But fortunately, he's one of the team owners here in the NORA Truck Series and sim racers. He brings a lot to the table. Christian, you got a copy on me, buddy? No, I guess he hasn't had a chance to work that out yet, so we're getting him in here as soon as possible. We'll be doing 55 laps in the first stage, 110 in the second, 200 overall here tonight. As you can see, the drivers already heading out there in the background to get qualified, and we'll go ahead and send it down trackside and pick up the action out there. Of course, tonight is the C&H Contracting LLC 200, and we're so proud to have them join us for the event. C&H Contracting, as you can see there on Ronnie Norman's machine, the number 6 painted by Snyder Graphics, one of our in-house sponsors. But there's Jacob Gladelich pulling his machine down onto the apron after putting in a great qualifying effort. How about Eric Sable? He's going to head out there for the JRC Sim team and try and get in his qualifying lap. Ronnie Norman driving with some pride, perhaps, as his sponsor is riding on board his truck. And, of course, they're the title sponsor of the race, not only tonight and tomorrow night. C&H Contracting LLC. Great to have them out of Terre Haute, Indiana. And certainly they are the ones to go to if you need any sort of contracting work done around your house. Everything from odd jobs to roofing to tile work. I've seen it all. They even do pressure washing, plumbing. If you have any contracting needs whatsoever, feel free to reach out to them. They're over on Facebook. We link to them through our Facebook page, but you can look them up on Facebook, and or hey, just reach out to them, give them a call, 812-241-3615 for C&H Contracting. Great to have them part of the NORA family. And just like that, qualifying done for a lot of these drivers. We'll see if we can get over to Torrin Shirts. How about we ride on board here with Torrin Shirts around the Bristol Motor Speedway. You're going to ride up high here, down the back stretch, get up real close to that wall, through the corners, try and diamond shape it a little bit, and across the start-finish line. Shirt's going to pull in the third fastest time thus far. Great time for him. And he'll bring it down. Now we take a look over here at Brian Jones, one of the top racing competitors in the series. And, of course, on the left-hand side, you see those in red who are going to be racing tonight to try to advance themselves in the playoffs. Be showing you the playoff picture here in just a moment with updated points from our last round. Of course, the last driver to win here in the NORA Truck Series, none other than Cody Reeder. And Cody right now all the way back in 12th place in qualifying. Now, qualifying going to mean a lot here at Bristol, because the further up you start in the field, the less trucks you're going to have to get around, and also the less chance there is to get swept up in potential carnage. So something definitely to keep your eye on, as Brian Jones is getting in a couple of extra practice laps out there. Christopher Heights, he got in couple of qualifying laps. He brings it down onto the apron. A number of drivers going to be not qualifying. Patrick Coluccio Todd Schneider, Nick Geilis, Mark Bremkamp, and David McGuire. And also, it does appear as though Everett Couts, who is qualified in 7th temporarily, is going to be facing an end-of-the-line penalty. So while we have a moment and they're just finishing up qualifying officially, we can go ahead and show you the driver standings as they are right now. It's Josh Conover, who is tied based on points with Brian Jones coming into this race for the playoffs. And of course, it is the top 6 that will advance and go forward. So waiting for those drivers to materialize as we go forward in these playoffs as to who it will be that will make it into the next round. But Conover, Jones, Cody Reeder with last week's win getting right up there as well. Eric Sable, Sean Briscoe, the the man who is still yet to claim victory, and it's quite shocking. Tim Harper also without victory this season. Very shocking with the number of great runs that he's had. And Jacob Gladelich, Torrin Schertz, both competing there to try to get this crown for the NORA Truck Series 2023. And with that, let's go ahead and get our starting grid for tonight's race. That's right, it's a C&H Contracting 200. Starting on pole position will be Eric Sable, and alongside him will be Brian Jones. On the second row, you're looking at Ronnie Norman. Of course, he'll be wearing that C&H Contracting, so feel free to root for him if you don't have anyone else to root for in the field. See if we can get them into a podium spot or victory lane. It would be great to be able to get them some extra visibility here tonight. Torrin Schertz going to be starting alongside Ronnie Norman. In the third row will be Josh Conover and Timothy Harper. So a lot of these playoff drivers going to be starting right up front. Everett Couts going to be starting in 7th place, and alongside him will be Matthew George. There on the 5th row will be Cody Height. Cody Height on YouTube as he's known. Or, of course, feel free to check in at some point with him and get over there and get subscribed if you're not already. Next to him, Jacob Gladelich. Then we've got Todd Slauson and Cody Reeder. Christopher Heitz and Corey Danielson. David McGuire and Mark Bremkamp. Nick Geilis will be starting next to Todd Schneider. And Patrick Coluccio will round out the field.
Pretty good field here tonight. Pretty excited. Got my issues resolved. I am here.
He has arrived, and he's slightly out of breath, but it's great to have you back here, Christian. Welcome back, my friend.
Yeah, there was an ID10T error going on with my system, so that has resolved.
Well, good to have you back. Of course, we're all set to get this one going. Just about to throw the green flag here, and Sable, Brian Jones, going to lead us down to the green flag and into turn 1 with Ronnie Norman wearing that great paint scheme painted by Snyder Graphics for C&H Contracting, and of course, alongside him will be Torrin Schertz. So if it's anything like last night, Christian, it should be a bundle of fun. Here we go. We are green here at Bristol. We had
already see Sable working that inside lane. Brian Jones making the outside work. He's going to have a good run here coming out of turn 4 for the first lap. Let's see who leads lap 1. Oh, dead even at the line almost.
Well, if there's anything that we learned last night, it's that there was no way to predict whatsoever whether the outside line was going to be the best, the inside line, a few drivers getting the inside line to be dominant, the outside line holding for much of the race. So we'll see, of course, 2 very different vehicles. Last night it was the NASCAR Next Gens out there. We'll be seeing them again tomorrow night. And now we have a yellow flag for Corey Danielson for the Capital Motor Club, who's gotten that one turned around. Very colorful paint scheme on that machine.
I was looking at all the paint schemes in the field. Unfortunately, Todd Slauson has the wrong paint scheme, or our system doesn't have it on. But he was supposed to run a Dale Earnhardt commemorative paint scheme. So, gotta love when trading paints doesn't cooperate.
And it frequently doesn't. And
it really doesn't, man.
You'd think we're back in 2005 when all of this started, with the way that things don't seem to want to cooperate. But either way, we've got the leaders in the paint schemes that they should be in. We'll see if we can get everybody else's to work properly. But let's take a look back here at what caused this yellow flag.
Indeed. I know these trucks are very loose. I was testing them earlier, and yep, just got loose, and it's turned into the inside wall there after he got loose. I mean, these trucks are a handful, man. If you lift out of the throttle too much, or you put a little bit too much throttle in on exit, it's going around. So, man, it's going to be a tough night for these guys to hold on to these trucks.
Well, nevertheless, he manages to not sustain too much damage, gets in, gets a pit stop done, and will continue on his way. It is a good-looking truck, isn't it?
It is. I love the Keller variation the whole way to the back.
Definitely.
Alien Labs, good sponsor for him.
A lot of graphic design work going into that one, something we can all appreciate. But Brian Jones, no surprise to see him up here. He is tied with Josh Conover in the points, and there's Conover in his number 17 Mountain Dew truck. Conover really feeling it here in the trucks this season, taking that regular season title when it was Jones who held on to the lead for so long throughout the regular season, and then finally at the very end, it was Conover who was able to emerge with that title. So congratulations to him. Will he be able to convert it into the full season title and take the crown for the NORA Truck Series? Certainly would mean a lot. I know that.
Oh, yeah. Personally, I hope he's able to finally get it done. I mean, I've been here with him for 4 seasons, and he's been in the Final Four 4 times in the trucks, and still no championship for that 17. So hopefully he's finally able to get it done this year and get that championship. He deserves it so much.
Well, he does fight hard. There he decides to do the choose cone, and that'll put him up into 4th on the inside. We'll just have to watch what the temperament of these trucks are tonight and see whether that outside line hooks up more than the inside line. Again, we saw Nathan Finnegan last night in the Cup cars able to hook up on that inside line and make it work. We saw the middle groove work. Really, it's amazing how many different techniques can work here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Great to have everybody watching us, as always. C&H Contracting, LLC. I know them guys. Yeah, you betcha. Well, watch along as we get this one back underway again. It is Brian Jones who is out in front, no problems whatsoever. Eric Sable just behind, and then they're racing side by side. There's Conover and Norman able to get it done so far. Put it up into that 3rd spot at the moment, so holding on there. There's Conover up that 1 spot right now, up into 4th, and fastest lap of the race for Eric Sable up in front as they just start to sort this one out here on the 11th lap. Now it looks like Sable about ready to challenge on that low line. Christian, we weren't seeing the low line working this early last night, but here he is challenging on that low line right now.
Yeah, when I was practicing earlier here, it seemed like the inside line was able to work a lot better than what it would in next gens. So I was curious to see how long until people realize that the inside does work. Of course, outside you can roll momentum a lot more, so you're able to cover that position pretty well up there. But the the inside does work, as you can see. Here comes Sable on the inside of Brian Jones. Caution will come out here. Your system software may know who it is.
Caution. Looks like it doesn't say who it is for. It could be for Jacob Gladilich, maybe?
I saw someone disappear that was out on track and then went to the pits, but I could be wrong.
Corey Danielson has left the race.
Wonder if he came back out and went back around, possibly?
Well, he might have. It does say that he jumped to the pits, so I'm not sure. We'll see if we can spot this one here. Sometimes the way that it works, if you come out and you park it in the wrong place, as you know, Christian, you can trigger that caution coming out. So we'll see if... Oh, he does get it sideways here.
Yeah, and that's 2 cc's, so that's disqualification from the race. So he already knew that and is gone.
And just like that, the evening's entertainment for Corey Danielson comes to an end. Also have Mark Bremkamp reporting to the pits at the moment. Christopher Heights working his way through the pits. Watch to see whether they're going to take on tires this early. It's very early in the going to be taking on tires unless you had destroyed them somehow with a slide or something on track. So, do we see them go up on jacks, or are they just filling up? Not sure. It looks like they're holding for a moment. And there, Bremkamp gets released. I didn't see either one of them go up on jacks.
Just to update the left side of your screen there, Chris Heights and Nick Geilis will have red numbers, but they have been eliminated from the playoffs. So they are not playoff drivers. The 8 that are in are all in the top 9. I believe that is.
Well, we'll have to make sure that we get that properly updated in our software. Remove that beautiful red background. And isn't that the way that it goes, Christian? I mean,
it is.
You know, you're in the playoffs, you're trying hard, and then the next thing you know, you're out of the playoffs, and you've got to wait an entire season, an entire year before you get another chance. I mean, obviously, there's a chance to go do things in other leagues, but at the same time, this is NORA. No, certainly not. And this is the group that you've been hanging around with for, you know, years, and you keep trying year in and year out to try to get this championship, and it's just as frustrating as real life racing for NASCAR. You do your best, and sometimes it just doesn't come together, and you got to watch everybody go out there and get to play and go for the championship without you. But still something to go for here. If you run, you can always get a win. Always prestigious to take one of those wins here in the NORA Truck Series. So with that, Brian Jones, Eric Sable going to lead us back to the green flag here for the C&H Contracting 200 on lap number 20.
Real quick, I'm looking at the stats here, and I don't see Sean Briscoe here tonight.
That is also interesting and something of note for sure.
Yeah, he's in the playoffs. He's losing some ground, but out front, Brian Jones with a great restart. Eric Sable trying to just keep up with him. Norman and Conover still side by side there for third place. And I think Josh kind of finally tuck in there behind Norman. Orange Shirts having a good run here in fifth. One of those playoff drivers battling with Tim Harper there behind him. Oh, Jacob Gladilich, playoff driver. He got loose. He saved it.
Gladilich gets it back together, but not before he drifts all the way back through the field. Now all the way back into 17th.
I see what you did there. Drifted back there.
He did. Indeed, the Drift King can go forwards and backwards. And now Eric Sable going to give it a shot again on the low side on Brian Jones. That was a close one. He'll race it in there hard this time. Sable Gonna try on that low side, but that high side has the momentum, and now we've got, I believe we got Ronnie Norman and Josh Conover involved in an incident.
Doesn't look like too much damage. No panic for the Conover fans yet.
Well, Christian, take us through this one.
Well, let's see what happens. Ronnie gets loose, and then Josh, trying to check up, just tags him a little bit. Oh, a little tap into the wall. Everything's all right there with the 17 and 6. No damage. But Ronnie Norman going to have a cause caution, so he's got to be careful. One more, and he's out.
Well, and you were talking also about these trucks being loose in your practice session. I'm guessing this is what you're talking about.
Yeah, that is definitely what I'm talking about. You get onto the throttle wrong coming out of these corners, and it's going around. Even just like letting out the throttle too much without touching the brakes, the truck just gets unsettled and spins around. So this truck is very hard to handle.
Well, once again, great to have you in the YouTube, oh goodness, the YouTube chat channel. I don't know. I was looking for it, but it wasn't there. It's great to have all y'all joining us over here in YouTube. Appreciate it. C&H Contracting LLC. Appreciate you joining us tonight, supporting your race out here. We'll be talking more about C&H Contracting a little bit later. Stephen Dombrowski, great to have you. Hello again. Unfortunately, looks like Ronnie's already got a cause caution out there. Of course, Stephen Dombrowski, every race here to support his favorite driver, Ronnie Norman. And Ronnie's out there to try to get a win for C&H Contracting tonight. But looks like it's a little loose for comfort, and he'll have to get that one together. Looks like he may have gotten some scrapes on the left side there, back by the rear tire well there.
Yeah, that was from Josh Conover's front bumper, just very slightly touching him. So not too much damage for Ronnie. You shouldn't be worried if you're Stephen Dombrowski out there. He's still got a truck underneath him.
Well, I might need to call on C&H Contracting and come over and fix that for him.
Let's get the hammer out.
Get the hammer out. It's too bad that they're not in Bristol, Tennessee. Could be able to head on down there and get the big hammer out. Get some bare bond. Get everything back to normal. Eric Sable in second place for the JRC Sim team. He's had one heck of a ride this season. Also one of these championship contenders in the field, and perhaps might be able to look at a championship scenario coming up pretty soon as he keeps racing with intention, and Brian Jones continues to hold in the top grip. I mean, Brian has been in the top 3, top 4 in just about every race that he's been in. And it's kind of a shock if he doesn't go out there and start to dominate a race at some point. Now, it doesn't mean he holds out there the entire race and wins it, but just like he's doing here, he loves to hold the point on these races.
Yeah, he's definitely very good at any type of track. Ryan Jones always a threat to win, but we are back green here, lap 29, on to lap 30 here. Good start there for Eric Sable. Orange Shirts moves up to third with Ronnie and Josh having an issue. Todd Slauson now battling with Everett Couts. Everett using the outside, gets around him there.
Pretty much 2 wide, possibly 3 wide back here as you got Couts and Slauson now racing. Actually, that Shirts, Torrance Shirts on the outside in the 33. And then Everett Couts in that number 32 machine on the inside. Who's going to work it out? Who's going to get through first? Side by side through the corner they go, and you can see they're starting to battle up in front as well. Just as exciting as that race is, here's this race for the lead. Brian Jones and Eric Sable back at it again. They didn't learn their lesson the first time. They're going to go try to work it out again for another 10 laps.
Yeah, every time Sable tries to start working that bottom, a caution ends up happening. So let's see what he's able to do this time. He's trying to make it work, and I think it's there. We just got to see if he's able to pounce on the opportunity here. Almost dead even at the line. Great battle out here.
Fantastic battle continuing on between two great competitors here in the NORA Truck Series. As Brian Jones stays in front for the moment. Eric Sable trying to hold that inside line. It is difficult going. Brian holding on, able to do so. Sable still keeping a wheel on him. Gonna try to roll it through the corner. Still can't get that momentum down the straightaway. It's amazing how he can get that momentum to get up alongside, but that it just, there is no advantage between the low line and the high line. You see him get a little bit further in the corner on the low line, but then because it's the shortest distance around, but then that high line just seems to have the momentum, and finally Brian Jones able to clear him. I think Sable gave it everything he had on that low line, but it is just impossible to pass down there right now.
Yeah, very tough to pass, but I think as a leader, you should be able to run the bottom pretty successfully. So here goes Brian Jones, and caution comes out, fourth caution of the night. I have to take a look at who it's for.
Well, we have...
Maybe Chris Heights? Oh, no, Gladelich.
We do have Gladelich having this big problem. And then it might be Christopher Heights afterwards. This is just as the yellow is coming out. Oh.
Oh. That one's more than likely the caution.
Pile drive from Todd Schneider. Let's watch here and see if we can tell exactly what happened. You can see they're racing side by side in this shot. We go on board with Schneider.
Almost looked like a little bit of net code, but you can see Schneider just moved down ever so slightly and pulls Chris Heights up into the wall.
I mean, from that angle, it almost looks like what we saw a couple of times last night with the driver from the low side thinking that they're clear and coming up into the driver on the high side.
Yeah, from that angle, it looked like it, but I can promise you, Chris Heights was holding his line there, and I think he just came down off the wall ever so slightly and net coded him. Because iRacing will say something that isn't actually happening. You know, that happens on this service. And
are you saying that iRacing lies to people?
Did you, there was absolutely no contact. Did you see how much there was in between those cars? My goodness, iRacing does not like Chris Heights tonight.
A lot of netcode there. Let's see if we can tell this time by. Guess we needed to have the camera out the other side of the cam. There we go. I wonder if we have this camera. It's not quite set up exactly right to be able to see the netcode here, but
man, it's basically like there's an extra 2, maybe 3 feet of like air bubble on his car that was turned.
Certainly. C&H letting us know, looks like a Sawzall blew up today. Yeah, for sure. That's above my pay grade to fix that one, buddy. Sorry. Yep. That's a smart man. Smart man. Let someone else tackle it. You know, they've got a pretty crack team down there at Ronnie Norman's pit, and if there's any need to get out the Sawzall or put on the Bear Bond or whatever, they pretty much know what they're doing down there. But Ronnie's bigger issue is that he has that cause caution, and if he gets one more, that is going to have to park him. So he'll watch for that, as now he's got to be super careful about that, and it's hard to do so at a track like this. There's Ronnie right now back in 13th position, so He might just kind of slip into survival mode for the majority of the rest of this race and try to see if he can wait it out until the end. But welcome, everybody who's joining us here on VirtualRacing.Network. You're watching live playoff coverage of the NORA Truck Series 2023. It's the C&H Contracting 200. C&H out of Terre Haute, Indiana. And there we go. Brian Jones takes us back to the green flag. Eric Sable in second. Everett Couts in third. And now he's closing in very quick. Here comes Tim Harper into this mix. And David McGuire, who is up 10 positions. He's now very quickly getting into the middle of this one.
Yeah, we haven't seen the green machine in a couple of races.
Oh, no. I'm guessing.
Trevor?
Oh, and they're still crashing.
Trevor?
Yeah.
Every time we talk about a driver.
I'm wondering if, I mean, stuff like that, it's almost as though he had the broadcast on and he was like, hey, Mom, I'm on TV.
Yeah, that's my name.
Hey, let me look over at the TV for a second. Yeah. Well, Christian, unfortunately, that did catch Tim Harper, who is one of our championship drivers, and also Patrick Coluccio. So let's step back in time, back a couple of laps ago before those trucks were all beat up, and perhaps you can take us through this one and let us know what happened here.
Well, the same thing happened for the last three cautions. Just got loose on the outside and goes around. Hard hit there for Todd Slauson into the door. Tim Harper as well, and then Patrick Coluccio. He has his night ended head on into the wall there. But Todd Slauson's got a good view of this one. You can see how loose the truck in front of him gets, and that's what's going to cause it here. There he goes around. Oh, and boom. Surprisingly, though, not too much damage to Todd.
Well, Todd tries to take evasive action, too. There's not much he can do.
And finally, that beautiful Dale Earnhardt scheme has loaded, so that's iconic for those who love NASCAR. But let's see what happens to Patrick. He's coming into this one, slowing down, gets loose. Bang. Hard hit into the outside wall.
Well, several major drivers here in the playoffs affected. Here's Josh Conover into the pits. Tim Harper pulls his machine in for repairs, potentially, though it doesn't look, at least on this side, like he took on so much damage. So he may have gotten away somewhat unscathed from that.
This is actually a good strategy call here for Josh Conover. He's pitting at lap, 51? We're going to be going back green with maybe 2 to go in the stage. He won't have to pit at the stage, and he'll be able to stay out and get that track position, whereas Brian Jones, Sable, Couts, Slauson, they'll all have to pit.
Exactly. Well, but at the same time, Jones and Sable will get those stage points, which are so valuable, as we know, in this championship. And Jones and Conover were tied on points coming into this one. So that being said, it looks like Jones will take over the championship lead with these bonus points. So that's how quickly the fortunes can turn here in the NORA Truck Series.
Just to update real quick, I was messaged by the owner of NORA. We are having a green-white checkered on this restart, potentially. If the lights don't go out there. The lights are out, so the stage will end on lap 56 instead. So at the completion of lap 55 is when the caution will come out for the stage.
Okay, start of lap 56, end of lap 55. That will be the end of stage number 1. Appreciate you checking in with us, and Race Control sending us that message, letting us know.
Josh is multitasking out there. He was driving under caution while messaging.
And playing Call of Duty at the same time. It's amazing. And
I swear he's got 10 arms.
And MLB and, whatever else he feels like playing. Brian Jones Gets a great jump there on Eric Sable for this restart. Sable going to have to gather it back together, and here comes Everett Couts. Couts going to dive down to the low side on Sable. Is he going to have more luck with that inside line? Possibly. You see Shirts kind of moving around on Todd Slauson back there. Slauson now up into that 4th spot. So good for him, but here comes Sable once again, trying to give Brian Jones something to think about. You know, all he's got to do is lead at the start-finish line. Well, he didn't quite make it to the start-finish line ahead, but he gave it a shot. And Brian Jones will take the very first stage here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Eric Sable in 2nd, Everett Couts in 3rd, Todd Slauson in 4th, and Torrin Shirts in 5th. We're going to take a momentary break here, collect ourselves, and we'll be right back with a driver interview and lots more green flag racing. Stay tuned. And welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. We're under caution for the very first stage. And it was won by Brian Jones. What's that, Christian?
Bit of a shakeup here. Brian Jones restarting 7th, man. He hasn't seen anybody's rear bumper all night, and now he's got to deal with some traffic here on the restart coming up.
And like you said, it was some pretty great strategy there by these guys who came in. Conover, not quite the latest to come in. Bremkamp came in 1 lap later, but actually Harper in on 52. So he's the back end of that group that already pitted. But still, really, Conover came in not that long ago, so he doesn't have very many laps on those tires. He can go just about as long as Brian Jones can, certainly under this caution-filled type racing. So,
yeah,
great strategy.
The more important thing, he's going to have clean air, as long as his team, sort of teammate, Jake Gladelich, helps him out a little bit. But we'll have to see how this restart goes. 61 laps to go, or 61 laps into the race. We are back green. Jacob Gladelich with a phenomenal restart there. Josh Conover into 2nd, and Mark Bremkamp sitting in 3rd.
Cody Hyde on YouTube right there racing for 4th and 5th with Tim Harper. Good to see that Harper didn't sustain too much damage in that earlier incident. And for those of you who wanted a driver interview, we will try to get you one on our next caution. Cautions are very quick here, so a bit difficult getting that lined up, but we'll get it on the next one. And wow, that was some maneuvering there by Conover, and Gladelich following that truck up the track. Of course, Gladelich not that long ago did get loose and spin that truck down onto the track, but here comes Bremkamp into that second position.
And behind him, Tim Harper almost went around. He had Brian Jones come up on his outside, kind of surprised him and got sideways. But Bremkamp and Gladelich side by side here for second. You can see 45 coming into the picture here. He's already up to fourth with those new tires. See if he's able to pass some more trucks here with Bremkamp. Oh, Bremkamp goes around right in front of him. Saves it. Oh, not quite yet. There you go. He saved it.
Woo.
What a save.
That took about an entire straightaway to get recovered. And as a result, Bremkamp all the way back to 11th place now. And perhaps that's not even it, as here comes Matthew George in that number 3 truck and possibly torn shirts, but looks like Bremkamp going to be able to recover after all. Ronnie Norman just up in front. He's now running in the 10th spot. You see Cody Height just in front of him in that 16 machine, actually just to the inside, and now they're about to split Tim Harper in the number 99 truck. So racing hot and heavy here for the 9th, 10th, and 11th positions. Just trying to get this one all figured out as we get well underway, but Conover making the most of those fresh tires and the chance to try to scoot away from Brian Jones, pull a little bit of a gap. It's now close to a second back to Jacob Gladelich. Gladelich doing the best that he can to try to hold off Brian Jones, but Jones has already come up through the field, doing kind of what he does best, Christian. He's making passes, and he's working his way back up to the front.
Yeah, certainly doing a quick job through the field. I believe he restarted 7th already to 2nd here in less than 13 laps, which at Bristol, that's 15 seconds a lap. So he is rocketing through the field right now. Eric Zabel trying to as well. He's right on his bumper here on the bottom. Oh, Brian Jones gets loose.
It's same thing on that low side, getting loose.
And we've seen it on the inside, we've seen it on the outside, and Brian Jones still having trouble. Once you get loose one time, you're battling it for the next 20 laps. It takes a while for that truck to have the rear tires cool down enough that you're able to run straight again.
Well, there's a few different reasons why you would get loose. Obviously, you've exceeded the grip level that is available for the contact patch on that particular tire that's sending you around, but it could be that it is on the verge of overheating, and that tends to happen when you're trying to hold the truck down into a corner, maybe a little bit too long on entrance or on exit. As you see, Eric Zabel still working to get by Jacob Gladelich as he now gets his opportunity to do so. Brian Jones couldn't quite do it, and now Zabel will get by. But if you get those tire temperatures up there and then you just try it one too many times to hold it down on exit or to continue to drive the low line as opposed to the high line on the trucks. And that's what causes that overheat. And then once the tire starts to slide, then the carcass of the tire really superheats, and it can take a while, as you mentioned, Christian, for that tire carcass to come back down to an appropriate temperature where it can start to grip again. And so you'll be fighting that car for, better part of a straightaway, maybe even a few corners before you can get it back under control. Gladelich really starting to suffer here as he's now fallen into the clutches of Everett Couts. And Couts looks like he's going to be able to possibly take that position away. Brian Jones kind of hanging out back here in 5th place as Couts almost sends it around. And he does.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were just talking about. Once you get loose in one corner, you go into that next one thinking, okay, everything's going to be okay. Well, it turns out it's not okay. Those tires are very, very hot in the rear, and he's going to go around due to that. the right rear overcooked the last corner and goes around the next.
Well, and as a result, once again, a caused caution will fall to Everett Couts, and that's not what he needs. He was just charging up to the front. The last thing you need to do is start tiptoeing around here, thinking, "Oh, if I cause another caution." But Christian, what if you're a driver? What can you do to mitigate that? If you start to notice it going away from you, do you just sort of abandon whatever kind of battle that you're in at the moment and try and cool down the tires? How do you handle that situation?
It's very tough to cool down the tires at this track. I mean, you're going into the next corner within 6 seconds after you just got loose at last corner. So pretty much no matter what you do, you're going to be loose for the next 2 laps, and you just got to really feather the throttle and make sure that you don't get completely out of it, because once you're completely out of the throttle, the front end of the truck gets light and it wants to go around. So basically unloads the truck and turns it sideways. So it's really tough, because when you have to lift off the throttle in order to cool the tires, that makes it even looser. So it's kind of like a lose-lose situation there on working on the tires.
Well, lose-lose situation, but nevertheless, you got to do something, because you got to get it fixed. You got to continue on, got to let those tires cool somehow, and got to regain control. You can't be spinning out. Certainly cause 2 cautions and you'll be out of this one. But looking on here, quite a few drivers taking advantage. Brian Jones, Cody Reeder, Torrance Schertz, Everett Couts, Mark Bremkamp, all these drivers coming in here during this caution and taking on at least tires, if not fuel, for this one. So, if Brian was dangerous before, look out. He's got fresh tires, and that may spell doom for the guys that decided to stay out. This is now 34 lap older tires that this front group is now on.
Yeah, he's going to try to hold off until the end of stage 2, but these guys, man, they're going to struggle on these tires. And everyone who just came into the pits, theoretically can be fine the rest of the way. It's about 135 to 140 laps on fuel, so everyone who just pit going to be good on fuel the rest of the way, but the rest of the guys out on track, they're going to make their final stop more than likely at the end of stage 2 and go the last 90 or 80 laps on one set of tires.
Well, Barney the flag man has that green flag in the air. He's getting ready to give the green flag, except we just hear the command that they're going to delay that start for another lap. So meanwhile, looking in over on YouTube, if you're out there, you haven't let us know who you're rooting on, let us know who you rooting on tonight. If you don't got anybody to root on that car that's running in, I believe, 4th spot right now, Ronnie Norman, as he is currently holding the paint scheme for our title sponsor of tonight's race, C&H Contracting. Speaking of which, looking over in our chat room, he says, C&H Contracting says he also builds chicken coops. So is there anything that C&H Contracting doesn't do that you need around your house? How about gnomes? Christian asks. Well, hey, if you're not in our YouTube chat room live right now, you're missing out on the fun. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you have to say about this race. Stephen Dombrowski, are we going to have to put a bounty on Brian Jones? It's getting down to it, isn't it?
Easy now.
Yeah. Josh Conover restarts in the lead, and he is out to an early gap, but this is what Eric Sable did when Brian Jones was up there. Is Eric Sable going to try it on Josh? It's interesting because Sable, actually part of the Josh Conover family. You'd think that he wouldn't try a move like that, but there he is about to door Josh Conover and try and take that win.
Yeah, Josh wasn't happy with Sable and Ronnie the last time they were out racing at Kansas. They were working as a team against Josh, so he wasn't too happy with them. But now they got a battle for the top 3. It's Josh, Sable, and Norman again battling in that top 3.
Well, Conover manages to take that position back, but Sable still right there. And how about this battle going on for third and fourth? That's Tim Harper on the inside of Gladelich, and there comes Todd Slauson. Slauson recovering from that earlier incident, but it sounds like we've just had somebody possibly hit the wall. I'm not seeing a note on it, but we'll keep our eyes peeled.
Interesting to note, I'm looking at Brian Jones. He is not pushing his truck at all, trying to pass anybody. He is saving those tires that he just got those last couple of laps. He is just running nice and easy, waiting this out until the stage, and then he's going to go for it at the end. He's going to try to maintain the lead whenever he...
Slauson gets sideways. Schertz gets into him. And that will bring out a caution, so add Todd Slauson to the list of drivers who has caused a caution. And Christian, you better get some extra help down there. Get the gnomes ready down at the Full Send Motorsports pit box.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for that paint scheme to have the left front clip taken off of it. Definitely a memorable scheme for a lot of people. Dale Earnhardt Sr. ran it back in 1998, and Todd brought it out tonight to honor the legend at Bristol, Dale Earnhardt Sr.
Well, that is a looker paint job. You got to love the metallic on it. Absolutely stunner. Yet another great job by Snyder Graphics. Facebook.com/Snyder Graphics, your home for all of your iRacing paint and livery needs. Taking a look here. And by the way, if you need your house painted or your chicken coop painted, C&H Contracting, your home for all of your household painting needs. And now we've got everybody coming into the pits and taking advantage of this caution who didn't pit earlier. This is Josh Conover, Cody Height, Cody Reeder, Todd Slauson, Patrick Coluccio, all coming in here to try to take advantage of that. By the way, Coluccio earlier involved in that incident, and those are some pretty heavy licks, but I'll tell you what, he's still on the lead lap, so it's pretty amazing. Top 15 driver still on the lead lap.
Yeah, I thought for sure when he went head first into the wall, that was night over. I mean, it's a solid wall. It doesn't move. So I thought the engine would be fried in that truck, but iRacing, I guess, didn't give him the meatball flag, and he's still good to go.
Well, Conover exits the pit and is ready to go again as the Dew crew service the number 17, got him out first. And he is back underway. Speaking of Ronnie Norman, there he is running in second place. The C&H Contracting machine out there getting the job done, so to speak.
I love how the house on the hood looks like it was painted on with a spray can.
It possibly was.
I told my gnomes to do it before the race. I hope they did.
Those gnomes are very helpful and yet obedient. We really appreciate it.
I tell you what, we need to find someone who makes gnomes to sponsor, because I think gnomes are getting more airtime than we are.
Some nights when there's excessive cautions, that can certainly take place.
So if anyone out there wants to send this to someone who makes gnomes, custom gnomes, make sure you.
Do you think there's somebody out there who makes custom gnomes? Is that a thing? Or is
Someone's got to.
I
right?
don't. That's a very niche market to be in, Christian. But I try so hard with these broadcasts and various other ventures in life. It would Makes sense that somebody out there is making a killing.
There's got to be.
Making custom gnomes. That's all they do. Okay, here we go. Eric Sable, Ronnie Norman, going to lead us back to the green flag here at Bristol Motor Speedway on race number one, on lap number 102. Easy enough for me to say. There we go. Eric Sable out to an early lead over Tim Harper. Ronnie Norman now in third place. So just like that, Tim Harper with a great move around Ronnie Norman, and now Gladelich racing with Matthew George and Everett Couts for position.
Really good battle here going on with that 32, trying to make the inside work underneath playoff driver there in the 14 of Jacob Gladelich. He's trying his best out here to hold on out there.
How about this move by Tim Harper? I mean, Christian, we've seen this so many times, but nobody has yet to pull it off. Trying on this low line to pull off the pass.
Yeah, Harper's just trying to stay and maintain clean air at the moment. Whenever you're behind another truck, you get that dirty air, and it makes your truck a little bit too tight or too loose. So he's just trying to keep clean air, but almost 3 wide back here. Brian Jones trying to get some points out of stage 2 here, trying to capitalize. Oh, loose in front of him there. I think that's the 32 of Everett Couts. Almost tail slapped the wall.
Almost to the end of stage number 2. That'll be on lap 110.
Oh, Everett's got to be careful. You saw him get loose 2 laps in a row. Those rear tires are pretty hot coming into this lap. We are on the white flag of the stage. We will see the green-white checkered for stage finish here. Eric Sable going to get those 10 points and the 1 point for the next round. Or actually, next round is just Phoenix, so that point will not carry over. But the 10 points certainly help.
So there you go. Eric Sable taking stage number 2. Tim Harper with a bunch of points as well, coming in second for stage number 2. Ronnie Norman in third. Everett Couts in fourth. Brian Jones in fifth. We'll be right back here on VirtualRacing.Network. Don't go anywhere. And we'll have a driver interview this time, I promise.
And welcome back here at Bristol, the NORA Truck Series. Pit stops have concluded. Eric Sable wins the battle off pit road. Josh Conover, Cody Reeder, and Cody Height stay out. Will be your leaders, but we're going to have a chance to talk with one of our drivers. I believe Eric Sable will bring him up here, and we'll have you talk to him, Trevor.
Well, that sounds terrific. Eric Sable, it's Trevor Greenfield up here in the booth. You got me?
What's going on, Trevor?
Hey, my friend. Well, it's wish I could say I was behind the wheel right now, but you just took the stage victory. It's got to feel pretty good for you out there, although you're going to be possibly restarting in 4th place.
This place is so hard to pass, and really it's all about track position. So Josh really has a good advantage here with Cody Reeder in 2nd. Really, it's going to be just a game of luck if I can get some passes early on and get by these guys, because whenever I try to go on bottom, they're up top, and you really just kill your tires. And this truck gets really, really loose a little bit into the run, so it's honestly a handful out here.
Well, what's the key to winning this one?
I think tread position. We'll see what we can do here with this next round of pit stops. Whoever takes tires and who doesn't, see if we can get tread position, get out front, and just hold on to it.
All right, looking good for you. We'll talk to you after this race, I'm sure, my friend.
Thanks, buddy.
So that is Eric Sable checking in with us here on VirtualRacing.Network during this caution for stage number 2, the C&H Contracting 200. Of course, C&H Contracting based out of Terre Haute, Indiana. If you need any sort of contracting work done for your house, everything from plumbing to pressure washing, painting chicken coops, everything is possible, roofing, and much more. Look up C&H Contracting on Facebook. They're your guys. Josh Conover leads us back to the green flag here on lap number 116 of 200. And there you can see Cody Height on YouTube now fighting it out with Cody Reeder, last week's winner, for 2nd place. And trapped in the middle of that is Eric Sable.
Yeah, Sable, he's going to dive low underneath Cody Reeder here. That's a battle for playoff position there. He's going to almost clear him. He didn't clear himself. That was a good move there by Sable to not come up there. Cody Reeder had a little bit of a run. See, caution is out on the speedway. We'll have to take a look at what happened here. Looks like the 86 of Todd Schneider around on the front stretch. Some pretty heavy damage there to the right rear.
Well, let's see what happened to the 86 machine.
Oh, already sideways. You see he's still trying to save it, and then Patrick Coluccio comes in and...
Let's see if we can... We'll back this one up a little bit further.
Just cold tires right there. Goes into the corner, lifts a little bit too much, gets sideways. Collects Mark Bremkamp, Patrick Coluccio, nowhere to go for him. And then the modified of Chris Heitz comes by.
Unfortunately, Coluccio really having some unfortunate run-ins here tonight. I'm kind of wondering what happened right after that. Let's see about Coluccio, because it did sound like somebody continued to hit the wall there. After the
Could
fact.
have been just the hood flapping on Chris Heitz's SK modified out there. Impressive that he's able to keep up with that thing.
That truck was a lot more pretty to start the night, that is for certain, and had a lot more pieces to it.
It was a little bit longer earlier.
It was. It's amazing how quickly these machines disintegrate, and the next thing you know, you're left with basically a tube and a driver.
Yeah, that's what you get with the composite body. All these pieces can easily come off, and that's exactly what happens up there in the hood. You got the front clip, you got the quarter panels, you got the rear panels, the bumper. It all can come off.
Stephen Dombrowski checking in once again. The poor gnomes working 2, sometimes 3 races a week. The bar tab must be astronomical. Thank God for sponsors, indeed. And building custom gnomes, it's got to be a niche market. It's niche, but it's one of those things, you know. It's just imagine somebody who looks like one of those gnomes, you know, except he's sitting on a beach sipping a a beachy drink.
Hey, maybe they can make like NASCAR drivers as gnomes. Like maybe someone could do that.
That would go over so well. I can't even believe it.
Just have like a little Dale Jr. sitting in your room as a gnome.
Well, they've done everything else. Why not? I know they've got bobbleheads. Why not do that?
Bobbleheads, statues, cardboard cutouts.
$1 million ideas. You heard it right here. If it happens, right here first on VirtualRacing.Network. Copyright
right
Christian Snyder, VirtualRacing.Network. Josh Conover, he's been in the lead for a little while, but Cody Height on YouTube now up here. This is the view from Height's machine. He'll be on the outside lane. Interesting choice here for Conover on the inside lane. So we know Conover will get the jump, but possibly Height will be able to hold in there. And Cody Height going to be able to hold in as well as he can on the outside, but not quite able to stay alongside. Eric Sable there clearly moving into third spot with Cody Reeder. And Brian Jones now racing for position with Everett Couts. And it looks like Reeder going to stay on the outside of Couts and not quite able to clear him.
Yeah, Couts is trying to make that inside work, and we've seen kind of 50-50 tonight on if it works, but Couts is still just having a little bit too much trouble with being loose. He's got to be careful because, like we've said all night, once you get loose one time, next 5 laps are the most miserable you'll ever have in your life at Bristol. But Eric Sable doing a great job here underneath Cody Heights, trying to get underneath him and pass him, try to get up there to Josh Conover and get the win. Move into the final 4. That's something big here that we haven't talked about yet. If you win here tonight and you're a playoff guy, you're automatically going to Phoenix and fighting for a championship.
Certainly prestigious. It would be awesome to roll up in Phoenix and have a mathematical chance at least to try to take that crown. But it looks like Sable still trying to work on Cody Height. So Height not willing to give it up that fast. And Sable had already tried to put a wheel on Brian Jones earlier. Sable not able to quite get that done on Cody Height, and almost in the outside of Cody Height as he tries to run that high line on Cody Height. Height now trying to take that center groove. That leaves him vulnerable to both sides as he gives the low side groove up to Eric Sable, and now they race side by side for that second position.
Tell you what, if Josh Conover is able to win this race, he might want to offer Cody Height some dinner, buy him some food, because he is Josh Conover's best friend right now, holding Sable up on those newer tires in Conover. But I think Sable finally going to be able to clear him, slide jobs him, and he does clear for second place.
He did indeed. And I've always noticed the helmet for Cody Height has that University of Tennessee orange and white pattern on it. Wonder if I'm not sure if he's still based out of Tennessee, but I can imagine this would be a pretty meaningful race to him for that purpose. Cody Height back into third place. Brian Jones now solidly into fourth, and he's going to have a chance as well to try to take that position away, that third place, from Cody Height. And take a look a little bit further back. There's Ronnie Norman, who's back into sixth place now after that round of pit stops.
Norman is way up to the front.
He is working back up there, so we wait to see whether he can make it. Tim Harper back into eighth now. So still 12 drivers left on the lead lap. Patrick Coluccio rounding up the field there in the back. Josh Conover starting to work his way through that traffic, and tell you what, that Chris Heights machine gets uglier and uglier every time they drive by it.
Yeah, it's not a pretty sight, especially whenever you're coming up on it as a leader. You know, you got that slow truck on the track that you got to navigate. If you catch it at the wrong time, it ruins your entire lap, as we see Cody Height caught it at the wrong time. Had to move down and slow him down. Now, looks like Cody Reeder going to catch him in a bad spot. He's going to have to dive low on Norman, and Norman's going to go around from that. Cody Reeder gets into Ronnie Norman, sends Norman around. No caution, though, but definitely some contact between Reeder and Ronnie Norman there.
And that moves Norman all the way back into 10th place. And he's now about a half a lap down at the moment. So,
looks like we're about to have a battle for the lead. Sable down to 0.3 of a second here. He's running them down.
Conover, Sable, and Jones, your top three, and all three of them are championship contenders here in the NORA Truck Series.
Yeah, if you don't have these three as your favorites going into Phoenix, I think you're mistaken, because these three have been top 5 a lot this season. They have the most speed week in and week out. I think these are 3 of the guys you're going to see at Phoenix for a championship, but it's up in the air with that 4th one. Could it be Cody Reeder, Harper, Schertz, Vladelich? Who knows? Because we got Talladega. Anyone can win there.
It's absolutely the truth. Anyone can win, and you just imagine somebody that you least suspect punching their ticket into the playoffs, into the final round of the playoffs, and we'll see who that might be, but could literally be anybody.
I know there's going to be some people trying to play spoilers not involved in the playoffs, one of them being me. Hopefully I'm able to have a good run out there at Talladega. But, oh, Eric Sable gets loose there. He's got to be careful the next few laps. He got loose once. It's going to be a handful. Oh, little bobble. Chris Height's going to pull down the track, get out of the way. That's very respectful there. I think he might be pulling it into the pits and calling it a night. But you got to give him props for staying out there for as long as he did with that truck.
Well, and you got to also look at Brian Jones and how far back he is right now, and it seems to be kind of hovering around the same time. He's not taking much time out of Eric Sable right now, but 1.8 seconds the gap for Jones to get up to Sable and Conover. So right now, this is really stabilized for Conover, and I mean, it's negligibly faster for Jones each and every lap, like maybe half a tenth. So it depends on whether Sable gets up there and starts trying to race Conover, whether we end up with a battle on our hands, and that might allow Brian Jones to get up there and try and challenge. But right now, 1.63 seconds the gap from Conover back to Brian Jones. So it's coming off just a tiny bit each lap, but is it going to be enough? 49 laps to go, and have we also finally stabilized into what may be a green flag run? I mean, could we possibly be looking at green flag pit stops before the end of this?
Trapper, every time you say that, you know what happens.
I'm pretty sure that we're not going to get another caution, and that this will stay green until the end of the race. So in that event, these drivers should be thinking about green flag pit stops, because that's the only possible thing that could happen, is it staying green until the end of this race.
Well, green flag pit stops aren't going to happen. All these guys, they have enough tires and enough fuel to make it to the end. But I tell you what, good battle here. Ronnie Norman trying to make his way back through the field. Kind of driving a little mad, probably. Getting by torn shirts here, trying to catch up to, who was it? I think Reeder and him got into it. So he's trying to catch Reeder and maybe pay him back.
Well, I think he may have a problem with this machine. He is a little slow. I don't think it's reacting well to the track changes or the tire changes right now. He may need some little bit of optional damage repair the next time he can make a pit stop. And
he could need a caution, and I think we have one.
And there is your caution for Todd Snyder.
And that will be a park, because that is his second cause caution. And he will already be pulling it into the pits there and calling it a night in that number 86 Toyota.
And you can imagine what he'll be doing immediately following the race. It's printed on the side of the truck there.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look and see what brought this one out. I'm quite shocked that there was another caution. He's just all over the place. That truck looked like it didn't even have, it looked like it had roller skates for rear wheels.
I think you fed that one into existence there.
I tell you, I've got all kinds of power. If I just knew how to use it for something of importance.
Now I'm not familiar with Todd Schneider's sponsor, but is that a malt liquor or what is that?
Those are liquors. The Labatt's is Canadian beer.
Oh, okay.
And they're actually, real reason why I know that relevant to racing is that there used to be the Labatt Series in Canada back in the day, and actually my father used to race in Formula Atlantic, going all the way back, which is sort of like Indy Lights of sorts.
Oh, that's cool.
And they used to have the Labatt Series in Canada back then, and Labatt's used to actually sponsor quite a few series back in the day. So back in the day of alcohol and tobacco sponsorship, back when they were paying a lot for the bills, and you could just go into any race and they would just hand you, you could get alcohol for free, and you could just get handed like an entire carton of cigarettes. I'm not even kidding.
I remember the Winston Noble, with them sponsoring NASCAR for a long time. It was the Winston Cup Series.
Yep.
Those were the good old days, and they had those orange numbers on top for the Winston Million. Those were my favorite days of racing.
You bet. Back in those days. Of course, you imagine the drivers probably got 10% of what modern drivers make in these cars up in NASCAR right now. So to get $1 million would have been a massive thing, but nowadays one of the top drivers, easily their salary will exceed $1 million.
Yeah, that's why the All-Star race has kind of lost its luster over the years. They race for $1 million, but that's pocket change for these guys. They have mansions, and they have really nice cars and own teams and everything now. They have race cars that they own, so $1 million is just a scratch-off ticket for them.
Certainly, and looking back over into our YouTube chat room, we have some more feedback from Steven Dombrowski saying if they were building NASCAR gnomes, Kyle Larson would be life-size. And that Labatt's is actually really good beer. So you heard it from him. If you can get it in the store, I guess give it a shot, but we're not here to promote any of those sorts of things. Just if you wanted to try it out and be like Todd Schneider, why not?
I'll tell you what, someone needs to screenshot what Steven Dombrowski said about Kyle Larson and get that to him there. That one's pretty funny.
And we're back underway here with just 37 laps remaining. Eric Sable, your leader, and it's Brian Jones, Josh Conover racing it out for second place. No contest. Brian Jones easily able to get around Josh Conover. They all came in and took on tires, but Brian Jones absolutely able to smash those cold tires and get around Conover, no questions asked. Dude is just a master on those cold tires. He seems to have it when others just cannot quite get a grip. But fastest sector one time of the race for Eric Sable that time. As fast as Brian Jones may be, he knows that he is fighting for this overall championship. And Eric Sable right now, fastest lap of the race, 14.78, right when it counts. And is he pushing those tires too hard? We will find out very shortly.
I don't think there's enough time left in the race to push your tires too hard. Now's the time to go. You gotta full send this thing the rest of the way. No time to save tires, because if you save tires, you're gonna lose about a second on the track, and that's hard to regather.
And as soon as I say that, Jones responds with his own fastest lap of the race of 14.77. So just like that, we see two of the fastest laps of the race dropped right here as we close down the final laps in the C&H Contracting 200 at Bristol. So is it going to be Eric Sable, or is it going to be Brian Jones, Josh Conover? How about Ronnie Norman squeaking back up into the top 5, now in 4th place? He must have worked some magic under that caution, under the hood, and on the outside of that machine. Now we've got a yellow flag, and I'm not entirely sure who it is for. I'll have to figure this one out.
Oh, some severe damage to Matthew George there.
We do see some damage on board of...
Really heavy damage on the front end.
Let's see if we can, if we back it up here. There might be the incident, as we see Gladelich getting...
Oh, man, and that's his second one.
There's Gladelich on the low line. And he gets loose coming through the corner and right in front of Matthew George. And as a result, you see George's damage on the front end of that machine. He was running up in the top 10 and biding his time, just as he always does. Let's see if we can jump on board real quick with Gladelich and see exactly what it looked like on board. Christian, it's been the same thing all night. Trucks getting loose out here. And he tries to correct.
This is like an incident. That's going to end up getting him parked. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully I'm wrong. He's a playoff driver. Hopefully he's able to stay out there and get some points. But it looks like he's still in pit road, so that might be the end to his night.
All right. So, tough going, tough sledding. He is taking left side tires for Gladelich.
He's going back out there.
He will pull it back out. Well, somebody, I mean, I don't know whether that doesn't apply to championship drivers. But
Either
certainly...
that or the last caution maybe wasn't 100% his fault, and maybe it was a racing incident, or someone else got the blame, so he's still out there. Or... Oh, you know what? He got loose but didn't go around. Remember, he saved it. Because the caution came out for Chris Heights going around in the wall at the same time that Jacob got sideways. So that is why this is his first incident. He is still out there.
Okay.
So
somebody's just spun in the background.
Coluccio gets on the brakes a little too hard there coming out of the corner and turns it sideways there, trying to check up for the field.
Just wanted a little bit more screen time.
Got to say, prime time right now.
It is the prime time to make a little half loopsy and get yourself some more screen time. 25 laps to go here for the C&H Contracting 200. And we're about to get underway once again. Eric Sable at the front. Josh Conover going to be starting down to the inside. That's Brian Jones and Ronnie Norman on the second row. Tim Harper, Cody Hyde on YouTube. Torrance Shirts and Cody Reeder, Jacob Gladelich, Matthew George, Patrick Coluccio, all those drivers still on the lead lap, and we are back underway here in Bristol. Eric Sable flings it down into turn one first. Brian Jones down to the low side.
Side by side here going into turn one. Brian Jones, Josh Conover. Friends, maybe not, but not enemies. They respect each other out here. These guys going to be side by side for another entire lap here. Conover going to clear him finally. Move Conover to second place here, trying to catch Eric Sable. 23 to go in this race.
Well, the top three are your championship contenders. Sable, Conover, and Jones. Conover and Jones tied for the lead of this championship coming in here tonight. This is also a championship where I'm sure if Ronnie Norman had not been just racing for owners' points, he'd been racing for drivers' points, I'm sure that he would have been part of this championship, this drivers' championship here in the playoffs as well. Josh Conover, though.
Sure. Ever since he took over that 6 truck, he's been lights out and getting top 10s a lot throughout the year. So he would be a factor, but he's not this year. He is certainly a factor over in the Cup side tomorrow night, but tonight it's all about these 3 up front.
Well, with that, it is just under 20 laps to go, and you know what that means. Yes, it's the 20 laps to go segment, sponsored by Snyder Graphics, and as we go on board with the Ronnie Norman C&H Contracting machine, stabilized up in front a little bit, but that C&H Contracting sponsored ride there for Ronnie Norman. That's a pretty good looking machine, and you know, I believe it was Snyder Graphics that put that together. Ronnie Norman said, hey, I need this for my new sponsor, C&H Contracting. You know, they do a lot of good home contracting repairs and all of that, tile work, plumbing, anything that you need sort of home contracting. I need a sponsored paint scheme for them. Christian Snyder, will you put that together? And Christian, you were able to do that pretty quick.
Yeah, pretty quickly for him, and he absolutely loves the scheme, and so does the sponsor. That they really liked how the truck came together. And I'll tell you what, 14 to go, and up front, Eric Sable and Josh Conover, they're still kind of staying right at that same distance. Conover not able to eat into that lead too much here. Brian Jones kind of starting to move up a little bit, trying to get up to Josh Conover up front.
Well, that battle's still going on side by side now for the 3rd spot. Conover trying to eat into this lead. Jones as well, but now a great side-by-side battle happening between Harper and Norman for the 4th spot on track. There's Harper getting by.
And he's a playoff driver, so that is one extra point that he's going to have for the next 2 races, so that was big for him. So he's got to keep Ronnie behind him to capitalize on the points. But we were talking earlier who's going to be the 4th with those 3 up front. And Harper has thrown his name into the ring. He says, I'm going to be that 4th guy to get up here and race with these guys.
Well, with 10 laps to go here in Bristol, it's going to be over before you can blink. But I'm not surprised to see Harper joining that top 3 up here. He's certainly shown over this entire season his tenacity and his ability to be able to run with the very best of the best here in the NORA Truck and Cup Series, honestly. But wow, wiggle big for Josh Conover, and it looks like that's going to open the door back here for Brian Jones to possibly get around him. 8 laps remaining for Eric Sable out front, Conover in 2nd, Jones in 3rd, Harper in 4th. But this is where the action's at right here. Jones with no choice. Conover moves down to cover the low line, and Jones going to try the high side, and he gets a great run through the last corner, down the straightaway. Is he going to be able to pull clear? And he does. Move Brian Jones up into that 2nd spot.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to have enough time to run down Eric Sable. 6 laps to go. He's got 7/10 of a second to catch him. Now 5 to go. He's got to do everything he can to try to catch Sable. If not, Sable will advance to Phoenix here. Sable just got to run the best laps of his race right here. He's got to just stay smooth and not worry about trucks from behind. He's just got to be calm behind the wheel. Now he'll move to the championship 4 to go here at Bristol.
Barney the flag man gets ready to wave that white flag. Just a couple more laps from now. Can Eric Sable hang on and punch his ticket into the final round of the playoffs for the NORA Truck Series? It's going to be very, very interesting. Brian Jones is now pulled well clear of Josh Conover, and Tim Harper still a ways back, not quite able to get up there and challenge Conover for that third spot. But as he comes by this time, white flag in the air from Barney the Flag Man. Just one more time around Bristol Motor Speedway for Eric Sable to get himself assured. He won the stage. He's won it all here at Bristol Motor Speedway, able to get himself into the final stage of the NORA Truck Series playoffs.
What a great run there for the 9 truck of Eric Sable. And a great run for all these playoff guys that are here, all 7 that showed up, all finished inside the top 10. So that's just how good these playoff guys are. And Eric Sable, the best of the rest, and gets that win. Brian Jones giving him a congratulatory bump there. Teammate Ronnie Norman going to drive by, congratulate him. And Sable going to celebrate on the front stretch with the fans here in Bristol.
Well, as he does so, we're going to collect our breath and get ready for these drivers. We'll be chatting with them in the post-race C&H Contracting Victory Lane discussion. Our top 3 driver interviews coming up here momentarily on VirtualRacing.Network. Stay tuned. And welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. He took the win in convincing fashion, though it wasn't him all the time dominating in the front. Eric Sable able to take victory here at Bristol Motor Speedway. It was an impressive victory for Eric here tonight. And of course, with the victory come the spoils, able to get into that final round of the playoffs. Second place going to Brian Jones for Brian Powell Motorsports, and third to Josh Conover of Flatline. Fourth place, Timothy Harper, and fifth, Ronnie Norman. Sixth, Cody Hyde on YouTube. Seventh, Torrent Shirts. Eighth, Jacob Gladelich. Ninth, Cody Reeder. Look how stacked that top 10 is with championship contenders. Pretty awesome stuff to see the cream really rise here at the end of the season. Matthew George, though, unfortunately, difficult end to the night for him, ending up back in 10th place. Patrick Coluccio hung on somehow for 11th place. Christopher Heights with a machine that, I don't know how he managed to drive that thing around, but it was still drivable. Ended up in 12th place. Mark Bremkamp in 13th. Todd Schneider in 14th. Everett Couts 15th. Todd Slauson, difficult night back there in 16th. David McGuire in 17th. And Nick Geilis in 18th place here tonight. So with that, I believe we're going to have a chance to chat with Josh Conover. And Christian, I believe you caught up with him somewhere down on pit lane.
Yeah, I just caught up with Josh Conover down here in pit lane. Coming into the night, I'm sure your expectations were better than third place, but still fantastic run for you. You were able to capitalize on some stage points throughout the night. Your lead may have been lost to Brian Jones, possibly. We'll have to find out, but still a great points night for you going into Talladega. So tell us about your night and how that was.
The fastest truck finished third. Can't pass at a dog shit track because iRacing messes another track up. Cautions come out when we had 12 trucks running, and yeah, would have been a good battle with Eric, but like I said, cautions come out because we can't stay green, and cost me a ticket to Phoenix, and now we got to play Russian roulette, I guess, or whatever, at Dega in 2 weeks, and hope to not get wrecked out of there and be below the cut. So yeah.
Yeah, it's always a tough night whenever it's a caution-filled race, but you did do a great job at capitalizing on as many points as you could. I know you put a lot of work in, had a fast truck, and always disappointing to not come away with the win. But you are one of the better drivers at Talladega that we've seen. You work really well with Vincent Arthur. Maybe he'll be able to possibly hop in the truck to help you out. At Talladega, you two work so well together. In Homestead, it's one of your better tracks. I know the records may not show it, but you get up against the wall and ride the cushion, so to say, and do pretty good there. But a great run for you tonight still. But yeah, the track, not a fan of the track, you said?
No, I enjoy it. It's normally it's pretty good, but I mean, I in the beginning didn't have lead speed, I guess leader speed, and got out front. And Eric was obviously faster and got Timmy and couldn't get around me, and it's just sucks. You have probably what could be one of the best tracks in the service, and it's ruined by, I don't know what the rating is in here, so I'll just say crap tire models and non-existent dynamic tracks. So even everybody runs the bottom or runs the top, doesn't heat up properly, and you're not forced to move around. You can just run the same line for 200 laps nonstop. So wish we could have moved around, but it is what it is. Kind of got fed up once the caution came out, because like I said, it would have been guaranteed. Eric probably would have given me a bumper, which here, I'm all right with it, but just kind of takes the fun out of it, because at that point, it's whoever gets out front is pretty much going to hang on and win, because you can't pass. So, like I said, we'll go play Russian roulette in 2 weeks, and hopefully survive, and I don't even know at this point, I guess.
Well, anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go here tonight?
Yeah, you guys for the broadcast. Eric, and obviously congrats on the win punch his ticket, and yeah, I don't know, I guess we'll see what happens.
All right, well, good luck the rest of the year here. We know Talladega and Homestead coming up, so good luck the next 2 weeks, and hopefully we see you in that Final Four.
Yeah, I'll need it for day, because like I said, I'm sure you're going to have people come out of the woodwork to come run, because it's a plate race and everybody's going to want to win. So, yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
All right, well, good luck the next 2 weeks, bud.
Thank you.
All right, Trevor, a dejected Josh Conover is what we just heard. And, he gets he's got to take the positive out of this, and he did a great job getting some points, but obviously you can hear the dejection in his voice. Thought he had a winning truck. But Trevor, I believe you caught up with second place over there on the other end of pit road.
Well, indeed I did, and that is Brian Jones, who now joins us here in the C&H Contracting Victory Circle discussion. But it's yet another driver. We just heard from Josh Conover, who was very dejected about not being able to seal this one with a win and get into that final round. Brian, you've also got to be kind of upset that you didn't get a win here tonight, as it seemed like you had the truck that maybe was the fastest overall to take the victory here tonight. How did you feel about it, and are you satisfied with second place?
Well, I don't think you're ever satisfied with second place. I don't know if I was the fastest truck tonight. Eric was pretty fast. I might have had him on the long run, but he ran the bottom pretty well, a lot better than I did, especially early in the runs. So I don't know if I was the fastest, but hey, it was a decent points night. We got a playoff point, which I guess it doesn't matter because this is the last stage or last round. But decent points, and we're just trying to get our way into that championship four.
Yeah, well, and I do have to correct myself. Fastest overall technically was Josh Conover. Second fastest was Eric Sable, and yourself third fastest. But we're talking 0.02 of a second separating y'all. So not much of a speed differential, but on the track, quite a bit of a different deal. How did you see it playing out here tonight? We talked with Eric Sable at the stage break, but what did it look like to you out there? Was it running the top side was the best? Was it running the low side? Did you like the middle groove? Was there a specific spot, or were you moving the truck around depending on what it was feeling like at the moment?
It's definitely how I was feeling at the moment. If you get a little loose, you kind of got to run the top. You get a little tight, you got to kind of run the bottom. If you're feeling pretty good and you want to save your stuff for the long run, maybe brake a little bit early, dive down, get a good run off the exit. It's really about preserving that right rear tire, which is so rare for for the trucks. Usually you're burning up the right front. Tonight we're burning up the right rear. I kind of like that a little better, but you know, it's just about which line you take affects how your tires go.
Well, what do you think about coming up next week, or in 2 weeks, I guess, at Talladega? How does that appeal to you?
Survival. We got to get through there. We got to not wreck. You know, we're probably going to give up some stage points, just to be honest. Just trying to play it safe. So it was nice to get some points tonight. We're going to give up some at Talladega and then try and get a good finish the last week. I don't know. Where's the last one? Martinsville?
We have Dega, and then Homestead, and then Phoenix.
So Homestead. Okay, that's a good one for us. We can do good there.
Yes, indeed. So Homestead with and these are such different tracks. It'll be quite interesting to see how everybody does adapt to it. But Brian, heck of a good night to get into second place. Not exactly the top step, but still solid out there. And the top 4 positions were all championship drivers, so you're surrounded by great company. Who'd you like to thank for your run to second tonight?
Well, definitely got to thank you guys. Got to thank Josh Conover. He puts on a great league, puts in a lot of work on this thing. Also got to thank Cars and Bids. If you don't know, Cars and Bids is an enthusiast auction online marketplace where you can buy and sell cars from the 80s, 90s on up. Best part about Cars and Bids, it's just a 4.5% buyer's fee if you want to buy a car, or $4,500. So good deals over there at Cars and Bids. Also want to thank Racing with Rich Energy. RichEnergyBook.com.
RichEnergyBook.com. Everybody check all that stuff out and make sure you get yourself a copy of that, and also check out Cars and Bids. And great to have you with us here, Brian Jones. Another solid run out there tonight, and we'll see you back here at Talladega in a couple of weeks.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Trevor.
So that is Brian Jones, driver number 45 Ford for Brian Powell Motorsports. He takes second place here tonight and takes over, I believe, the lead in the championship, though we wait for official word on that. And that means that it's time to chat with this guy, the guy who managed to get himself into victory lane despite Josh Conover and Brian Jones taking up most of the space for that, most of the race. And in fact, it is Eric Sable who takes the victory here tonight. Congratulations, Eric. Fantastic run to the win. And I mean, like I was saying while you were in the waiting room there, at various points it was like Josh Conover, Jones was up there in the lead. It seemed like you tried, but was there a point where you thought, I just don't know if I got the fastest truck out here tonight, maybe I won't be able to take this victory? Or did it seem like this was in your hands all night?
Honestly, throughout the night, there was no way I thought I had the fastest truck out here. I was struggling in practice. I couldn't get a grip on everything, and throughout the race, even though I was up front, you couldn't pass. I told you this during the stage break. It was just, track position was so key here. So, the JRC number 9 Moneyline pit crew, they won this race. They beat Josh off pit road, and we hung on to it. And holy moly, we are in the championship race. And 3 wins in this lead. It's unbelievable.
Well, and you solidify your place here, not only just amongst the greats here in the NORA Truck Series, but you punch your ticket into the final rounds of the playoffs. How great does it feel to get that done before you get to the essential crapshoot at Talladega in 2 weeks?
It feels great because I was telling Ronnie during this race, I'm like, if I can't come off with a win here at Bristol, Talladega is just going to be a mess. It's stressful on just about every driver because it's just, the unthinkable. You don't know what's going to happen. Someone can, make the wrong move and just pile up the entire field. So, I guarantee that's what's going through everybody's minds, in this chase grid. So, honestly, it's a huge relief. Everybody on this team, Ronnie, just everybody, Moneyline, Ford Performance, C&H Contracting for doing this, sponsorship for this race. That's incredible. Man, it just feels so good to be able to go for a championship around these guys.
Absolutely. It was a beautiful win to walk away from this one. Certainly, Conover feeling very dejected, and Jones feeling like he had a great truck out there, but shaking his head at the end of this one. You're the guy that walks away with the victory. Who do you want to thank for tonight's race, and what would you say was the number one secret, the number one thing you had to do to get this victory?
Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody on the JRC Sim team. You know, Money Lion, Mobile One, FanDuel, Ford Performance, C&H Contracting for, you know, doing the sponsorship of this race, VirtualRacing.Network for the fantastic job they do week in and week out, not only for the NORA, but, you know, I watch the Icon too as well. You guys do a fantastic job. Yeah, there's so many people to thank. You know, I'm happy, you know, Ronnie got me to come over to this lead. I've been having a blast, and to, you know, come out here and, you know, run so good, and the qualifying efforts, like having that number one pit stall week in and week out, I think that's a huge, you know, part of being able to win these races, because pit road is so crucial just as much as running this race car week in and week out. So, yeah, man, you know, hopefully maybe in the next, you know, couple weeks we can pull off another win, maybe another one at Homestead too, and, you know, seal the deal in Phoenix and go off into the sunset and take home that championship too.
It's on the table for you, and it's getting closer. You take this victory, it seems like anything is possible. Eric, congratulations taking victory here tonight. Maybe it's a preview of great things yet to come. We'll find out. In the meantime, we'll see you in a couple of weeks in Talladega.
And, you know, hopefully, you know, we always have the Storm and Norman fan club. Maybe we can get a Sable fan club going on around here, you know. You never know what can happen.
Absolutely.
People watching at home.
Got to get out there and network and you got to hand out your business cards, and you got to start.
That is it, man.
Get that fan club together. Well, maybe you're cultivating a fan base out there tonight watching along. So either way, wouldn't be surprised if that starts happening towards the end of the season. But Eric, congratulations. We'll see you at Talladega, my friend.
Sounds good, man. You guys have a fantastic night, and see you in Dega.
Absolutely. That is Eric Sable, driver of the number 9 for the JRC Sim team. Takes the victory here at Bristol Motor Speedway, and of course, it is the C&H Contracting 200. You can look them up over on Facebook. C&H Contracting, they're family owned and operated. Free estimates, drywall repair, odd jobs, plumbing, flooring, you name it. If you need it at your house, they can probably do it for you. They're your one-stop shop. Give them a call, 812-241-3615, C&H Contracting 98 at gmail.com, based out of Terre Haute, Indiana. Anywhere around there, give them a call and, you know, give them a shout. Why not? We thank them for joining us and being the title sponsor here tonight, and they'll be here again tomorrow night. Also, thank you to Christian, who had to step out for the remainder of this one here tonight, and we do appreciate everybody being a part of this over in our YouTube chat room. It's always great to be able to chat with you folks. Hey, if you're watching this, you're not already a subscriber here on VirtualRacing.Network, what are you waiting for? Hit that big subscribe button, and you will get all of the NORA Truck Series and Cup Series action delivered right to your homepage on YouTube, and they'll even alert you to our upcoming races, as well as the Icon Cup Series, which happens on Sunday nights, and they're just getting into the playoffs right now, so you won't want to miss any of that action. Hey, tomorrow night is our next broadcast. It's the NORA Cup Series right here from Bristol Motor Speedway. On behalf of Christian Snyder, all of the NORA Truck Series competitors and administration, and all of you folks over in YouTube, appreciate all of you joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow night right here on VirtualRacing.Network. Until then, I'm Trevor Greenfield. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. So long, everybody.